Diddy walked into the courtroom with his head held high, trying to keep up the image of a man still in control. But deep down, he knew what was coming. His lawyers had prepared him. The prosecutors had made their case. The walls were closing in. And this time, no amount of money or fame could save him. He had run out of favors, out of protection, out of time. As the judge entered the room and everyone rose, Diddy's eyes scanned the crowd. Cameras weren't allowed inside, but the media storm was waiting just outside the doors. This wasn't just another hearing. This was the moment that would define the rest of his life. The charges were heavy, involving trafficking, illegal surveillance, and manipulation that stretched over years. Accusations from multiple women and even minors, with some saying he used threats and blackmail to keep them quiet. And though Diddy had denied everything from the beginning, the evidence told a different story. Witnesses had testified, videos had been presented, and when a particular tape was mentioned, one the government claims is beyond disturbing, Diddy visibly flinched. The courtroom went silent when the judge began reading the ruling. But it was Diddy's reaction that shocked everyone. His composure started to crack. His breathing got heavier. His eyes darted between his lawyers, hoping for some reassurance. But they couldn't lie anymore. The judge's voice was steady, calm. But every word felt like a hammer pounding down on Diddy's world. The sentence was clear. His legal future was sealed. The exact years weren't made public yet, but from the language used, it was obvious. Diddy would be behind bars for a long time. Then it happened. In a moment of total collapse, Diddy dropped to his knees. It wasn't staged. It wasn't for show. This was real. A man who once ruled the music industry, who threw the wildest parties in Hollywood, who walked red carpets like royalty, now kneeling on the cold floor of a courtroom begging for mercy. He looked up at the judge and whispered something. No one could hear exactly what he said, but lip readers believe it was, "Please, don't do this to me." His voice cracked. His body trembled. His lawyers tried to help him up, but he waved them off, staying on his knees as if surrendering to a fate he never believed would come.
If the jurors are guilty on trafficking and prostitution, I don't think the government is going to come back, bring the victims back, spend 2 months retrying this case just to get racketeering. Trafficking in particular with force has a 15-year mandatory minimum sentence and a potential life sentence. So Combs is going to go away for quite some time. If, on the other hand, the jurors are just guilty of prostitution, the Mann Act, interstate travel to engage in prostitution, not guilty on trafficking, and hung on racketeering, I don't think the government is going to retry the case.
The judge paused and acknowledged his plea. But the law had already spoken. The facts were too strong. The damage too deep. There was no turning back. Even his mother, Janice Combs, who had stood by him through every scandal, was seen wiping tears from her eyes. She had always defended her son, but even she couldn't stop the justice system. Outside the courtroom, chaos erupted. Protesters shouted, supporters cried, and reporters scrambled to broadcast the breaking news. Social media exploded with the clip of Diddy being escorted out in handcuffs, still looking stunned, still shaking his head in disbelief. For years, people whispered about Diddy's dark side, the parties, the power trips, the control, but no one dared to say it out loud. Not until brave survivors came forward, not until lawsuits piled up, not until the federal raids found things no one could explain. And now, it had all come full circle. No more hiding. No more avoiding questions. The truth was out, and the world was watching. Back in the courtroom, the silence was deafening as Diddy was led away. His team tried to stay composed, but it was clear they knew this was the end of the road. His music empire, in ruins, brand deals, gone, friends, now silent. Diddy once said in an interview, "No one can touch me." But now that confidence had vanished. All that was left was a man broken, desperate, and alone. His begging may have moved some in the room to pity, but the law doesn't run on sympathy. It runs on evidence. And Diddy's past finally caught up with him. What happens next is uncertain. His legal team is expected to file appeals. There may be more charges coming, more names involved, but what's certain is that the image of Diddy on his knees in court will never be forgotten. It will live on in headlines, documentaries, and the memories of those who once idolized him The man who built an empire on swagger, wealth, and influence now faces a reality he never prepared for. Not on a yacht, not in a mansion, but in a prison cell, and no matter how loud he begs, it's too late now.